Thank you. I'm delighted to get an opportunity to contribute to this debate on crime. Over the last 2 days, crime has been raised with me by two constituents. One is in a retail outlet operator who experienced an attempt of robbery, and the other an older person who shared her concern at being a victim of a burglary or an assault. The confidence and supply arrangement the Fianna Fáil has agreed with Fine Gael provides for an increase in Garda numbers up to 15,000, investment in CCTV and mandating the Policy Authority to oversee a review of the boundaries of Garda districts and the disbursement of Garda stations. I welcome these measures. The commitment to increase the Garda numbers in particular relevant in the context of Kildare. I know that Kildare deputies in the past have already made this point, and I want to reiterate this here today. Kildare has the lowest number of Gardaí per population in the country. As additional Gardaí are planned to be recruited, I feel that a bonus should be applied to Garda divisions like Kildare, who have low ratio of Gardaí to population, to address the imbalance in Garda resources, and this can be achieved over time. There are two main points that I want to raise in this debate. One relates to the potential to increase the civilian staff in the force to enable Gardaí to concentrate on the frontline activities, and the other relates to the concern of older people being a victim of crime. I have campaigned for increasing the numbers of civilian staff in the Garda forces, building up the findings of the Garda Inspectorate report that there is a clear need to ramp up the use of civilian staff in the force. By increasing the civilian staff, it will alleviate the administrative burden currently placed on Gardaí. New workforce planning and outsourcing of certain non-essential duties would help to free up the Garda to get them back on the beat, visible in their communities and directly tackling crime. Civilian staff currently provide several vital operational supports in areas such as Garda Central Vetting Unit, the Garda Information Services Centre and the Fixed Charge Processing Office all employ successful civilian staff. They also provide vital supports in a range of other areas of service such as human resourcing, training, IT and procurement. In doing so, they realise training Gardaí from their administrative duties to operational and policing. I believe that there is a value in exploring further opportunities for increasing the ratio of civilians to Gardaí, which will further release Gardaí from administrative and other positions to frontline duties. The transfer of burden control functions at Dublin Airport from An Garda Síochána to the Irish Naturalisation and Immigration Services, as in the INIS, is an excellent example of this. I know from my clinics that families and elderly people in particular are living in fear of crime. Hardened burglars are not afraid to commit crime because of the lenient sentences and low Garda numbers. I believe that a set of specific measures to tackle burglars across the state should be put in place, which should include mandatory sentencing for repeat burglary offenders, electronic tagging for repeat offenders on bail, ensuring CCTV cameras at all major road junctions to enable Gardaí to identify and apprehend criminal gangs using motorway network is vital. Last year, Fianna Fáil published a bill to introduce a mandatory 3-year in jail for criminals convicted of burglary and a minimum of 7 years on third burglary convictions. We believe that there is a need for tougher sentencing on those guilty of particular abhorrent crimes, namely assault on older people. It is important that we send a strong and a clear message that assaults on older people will not be tolerated and they will be severely punished. There has been a significant increase in rural isolation, particularly affecting older people, which has led to an increased vulnerability and a greater fear of crime among many communities. There has been a number of high-profile cases of older people being targeted in their homes by burglars. In response to this, during the Dáil, we published legislation which specifies a minimum prison sentence of 3 years for people convicted of assault causing serious harm to older people and threatening to kill or cause serious harm to anyone over 65. While crimes against older people is not specifically recorded as a heading in the CSO, however, there is a considerable anecdotal evidence that people are more vulnerable to attacks as a result of increased isolation. In December 2014, the Commissioner for Older People in Northern Ireland called for specific targets to be put in place to target crime against older people because such crimes were likely to result in prosecutions. We are seeking a similar analysis here to establish the rates of success in bringing crimes against older people to successful court outcomes. Thank you, Last Court.
Now